Hi, it's Jennifer, and I wanted to show you how to do this embossing on ribbon. And I'm going to show you a few different ways to do it so you can get different looks. First of all, I'm going to take this greeting, "So glad you're in my life," and I want to stamp each individual word on a different ribbon. So what I'm going to do is just cut this clear stamp. And since our clear stamps are photopolymer, they're very high quality, you can do this without having to worry about warping the images. I'm just cutting in between the letters so that it's not affecting it. Now if you want to go ahead and mount it anyway, look at all the different ways you can mount it in a row like this, or you can mount it the original way. So cutting it really doesn't do anything but increase your options. I'm going to use this word on the pink ribbon, so I'm just going to show you that first. Now this technique works with some ribbons and not with others. I just recommend you test it on a little scrap of the ribbon to just test it out and see if it can withstand a little bit of heat from a heat gun. So I'm going to ink this stamp up with Versamark ink. You can use any kind of embossing ink for this. And I'm going to hold my ribbon kind of straight with my hands, with the sides of my hands, and stamp it onto the ribbon. And I'm going to shake on some white embossing powder. And I've got this here, and you can watch. You'll see it wants to stick to the ribbon, but all I do is kind of flick it, and it knocks off the extra. You could use one of those anti-static powders, but I never seem to fuss with that. So you can see some powder there that I'm just going to brush off with a clean brush. This seems to work really well for me. And then you can do this in many different ways. I could go ahead and heat this with a heat gun until it's solid white, so you can't really see through the ribbon. But what I'm actually going to do is keep going and add lots of heat to it so that it almost starts to disappear. So you can see there it's starting to turn white. I take the heat off of it every few seconds so I don't warp the ribbon. You can see it's starting to turn solid white, but I'm going to keep going, and you'll see it starts to disappear, and it gives it kind of like a bleached look, just like this ghost-like image. And I really love that. And what's even cooler is now when I pull on the ribbon, a little bit of the white pops back out. It's just a neat effect. Let me do it again here for you to see. You'll see I'm using Versamark again. I'm going to hold the sides with the side of my hand so the ribbon stays nice and straight. I'm going to stamp on there pretty firmly because you want to get into the grooves of the ribbon. Shake on some white embossing powder. I like the Hero Arts white embossing powder. Flick off the extra. And now I'm going to heat this. Again, when I heat it, I put some heat towards it and take it away every few seconds because you don't want to warp your ribbon. But again, if you test this ahead of time, you won't have to worry about that. So you can see it will first turn white, and I could stop there with a nice white embossed image on the ribbon. You can see there. But I actually am going to keep going again so that it kind of disappears into the ribbon and gives a ghost-like image. So there it starts to disappear. And then when I stop and I pull on the ribbon on the sides, see me kind of wiggle and pull it, it kind of pops back a little bit and gives a nice look. So you can see how it looks on the different colors of ribbons. Now to adhere these ribbons down so I can put them to the card, I just have this piece of white scrap paper, and I'm covering it pretty generously with an adhesive. And I'm just going to lay the ribbons across the cardstock. By doing this, I'm just giving some stability to the ribbon so that I can add it with pop dots onto the card. Cutting off the extra white paper above and below the ribbons, I'm just going to take a little bit of string. This is just inexpensive white string, and I'm going to tie it around these ends. You could also do a knot or do some kind of other finish to the ribbon, but I thought these little ties would be kind of fun. So I'm just going to put those on there and do it to all of them. And I'm cutting the ends of the ribbons to different styles, like either a V or just a little angle, just to give it a little bit of variety. After finishing all the ribbon ends, I'm just going to give a finished look to this side. I could either cut it along the white paper, but I was afraid that that would fray. So instead I'm just tucking all of these ribbons to the back side so that I can put this on to the card with pop-up dots, and that edge will look finished and not end up fraying. So you can see I'm going to add it to this card. And this card I actually white embossed dots on the background too, just to give it a little touch of fun. Now I have this flower. It's one of our new flowers from Hero Arts. They're printed flowers, and I wanted the yellow to pop out a bit, so I'm rubbing the edges with a wild honey. It's kind of an orange distress ink, just so that it pops out instead of looking washed out with the white background. Now I cut the edge of my card a little bit shorter so that these ribbons would hang off the end. Just something fun to do, and it'll still fit in my envelope this way. So I'm adding the flower also with pop dots. I actually took 2 thin pop dots and put them together so it would stand higher than the ribbons. And this is green wire that I just put 3 together. I winded 3 pieces of wire together for the stem. I just thought the wire would be kind of fun against the ribbon. So I'm putting a glue dot, I'm wrapping a glue dot around the end of this, and I'll tuck it under this flower here. I'll come back and put a stronger adhesive on that in a bit. I folded some more wire to make a leaf, and I'm going to use Glossy Accents, which is a new adhesive that we carry, and this will hold strong when going through the mail. So if you want to keep an embellishment in its place, you definitely want to use Glossy Accents. And if I just hold this for a few seconds, it'll stay put. So here's the finished card. You can see kind of that bleached look for the greeting on there. And then I did the white dotted background. For more ideas and questions, please visit heroarts.com. Thanks for watching.